I move to a few other coincidences that should complete your exposure to this design of how things move. It began with the evolution of airplanes, but it started with something much, much simpler, which is, you'll see, I hope you see today, the design of boats with sail. Ask me, what's the connection, you know? Yeah, what's the connection? The connection is that we got to this point today from a long time ago. And the people in antiquity were actually very smart. They're the ones with the boats with sail. But I start with, I go backward in the opposite time direction from today to kind of also today, and show you, I'll say I promise you a PDF, an article about predicting the evolution of helicopters. Helicopters are, their main purpose is to hover like say the jellyfish or some like the hummingbird. And for that, they do not use two wings. They use a rotor that's an assembly of several wings called blades. And so this is the helicopter. The rotor is here. There's a small propeller at the end that rotates in a vertical plane for the purpose of maintaining the helicopter oriented in one direction only. Otherwise, the helicopter would be rotating in the opposite sense as the rotor. And the paper I'm going to share with you repeats the sequence of steps, meaning predictive steps that you saw in the evolution of airplanes, except at this time the question is about not the wingspan, but it is about the radius of the rotor. And of course, the whole thing has a mass. All those things are derived analytically before they are compared with data from the entire industry of helicopters. And the results are the following, that the power, not the power, the actual work, which is the power times time, so power times hour divided by kilogram or pound mass of fuel burnt should be proportional to the size of the engine to power 1/4. That's one result. Another is that the mass of the engine, so mass engine should be proportional to the fuel load. This proportionality is very similar to that on airplanes, namely ME, roughly 0.3 M fuel. Another one is the almost one-to-one relationship between engine mass and total helicopter mass. So mass of engine turns out to be, this is now from the data, not from the analysis, proportional to the total mass to 0.83. The correlations that you get from looking at the data are very sharp, indicating obviously principles of physics at work, which is the principles I'm invoking here as an ignorant man, But when it comes to helicopters, these machines have been arriving from all sorts of institutions. During the Cold War, these were institutions working independently, in secret. Never mind the espionage, in secret, and they would be arriving at the same conclusions. Today, you see this sort of convergent technology in the development of drones. Everybody's making drones now, and they end up being quite similar. So I give you that, and and finally, from analysis identical to what I showed you for airplanes, here is looking at the airplane coming at you. These are the wings, and then because the air blows into the face of the airplane and it creates lift, the wing bends upward and creates stresses here. Well, the same happens to the blade of the rotor. When it is rotating, it experiences lift, and the blades do this, and the stresses are highest at the what do you call this, the axle on which the blades are attached. And from that argument, you discover that the rotor radius should be, so that's rotor, should be roughly a body mass to power almost 1/3. This is the total body mass. But of course, the body mass is proportional to the length scale of the vehicle, called L. So that's L body, indicating that the rotor radius should be proportional to the length scale of the vehicle. What do we call this? We call this the convergent evolution of these objects, the helicopters. They all look the same, small and large. Okay, so this is one extension of the material that began this discussion last time. That was the evolution of airplanes.